What's up, guys? Today I want to talk a very important idea, and that's the idea of not getting stuck in your sport. So we often talk about specific preparation and carryover and what type of exercises to do for a particular sport, but it's just as important to train the movements your sport doesn't cover, or it's going to inevitably lead to problems. And I rarely, if ever, get injured, but I had some niggling kind of tightness in my right hip flexor for a while, and I think the reason is that I just wasn't getting enough hip flexion, so the motion of pulling your knee towards your chest, because as you know, I'm super focused on kettlebell sport at the moment, and I started noticing that just getting into a squat started becoming really difficult and sometimes even hurt, and I started to notice it on my squats, like when I was doing my squats for general physical preparation, that I couldn't get as deep as comfortably. And it would be easy to say, oh, it doesn't matter, because in kettlebell sport you don't really need any hip flexion at all. It's very extension based when it comes to the hips, and people won't give you a hard time if you don't hit depth on your squats, because sport specifics, you don't need to squat ass to grass, you don't even need to hit parallel to get carryover to your kettlebell sport lifts. But I saw this as a warning sign and recognized that would lead to problems down the line if I didn't address it. So I knew I would need to start incorporating some hip flexion focused work into my program, and I started with the basic squat, and here you can see right away that it's the hips that don't move as much. So my ankle flexibility is pretty good, so the knees move forward over the toes. My back also flexes quite well. There's no problem with knee flexion at all. It's really the hips that are the limiting factor. So the focus is going to be to have the hips moving a little bit more so I can get into a nicer upright squat posture. And the general idea is that, of course, if you don't move it or use it, you're going to lose it. And that applies to everything. That applies to motor units, that applies to ranges of motion, that applies to every single physical quality and mental as well, for that matter. And a lot of people are way too focused on sport specifics. So they only say, if it doesn't help me in my sport, I don't care about it. But that's the wrong way to go about things, because eventually your body is going to get stuck in the ranges of motion of your sport, and down the line you are going to get injured more likely than not. So don't just be worried about specificity, also be worried about contra-specificity, or the opposite of what your sport is doing. And I can tell you that squat stretch was right what I needed. Afterwards, I felt my gait was better and my hips started to feel more open right away, not just in flexion, but also in extension. So keep that idea in mind. The body is going to give you the warning signs. Just don't ignore them, and see you guys next time.